the quaint town of Correggio, Italy held its breath. Nestled in the heart of the Emilia-Romagna region, this picturesque town was known for its serene beauty and rich history, but beneath its charming facade, a dark and chilling tale was about to unfold. The year was 1940, and a chill had settled over the cobblestone streets, a chill colder than the approaching winter. The townsfolk, wrapped in their heavy coats, whispered among themselves, their breath visible in the frosty air. This was no ordinary winter chill, it was a harbinger of something far more sinister. The air was thick with an unspoken dread, as if the town itself was aware of the horrors that were about to be revealed. Whispers of missing women and gruesome rumors swirled through the piazzas, carried on the cold wind. The once lively squares were now filled with fear and suspicion as the townspeople exchanged hushed conversations about the disappearances. These whispers culminated in the arrest of a seemingly ordinary housewife. Her neighbors were shocked, unable to reconcile the image of the kind woman they knew with the monstrous acts she was accused of. Her name was Leonarda Cianciulli, a name forever etched in the annals of criminal history as the soapmaker of Correggio. She was a woman whose actions would leave an indelible mark on the town and its people. Leonarda Cianciulli, a woman who personified the grotesque duality of love and brutality, remains an enigma to this day. Her story is one of contradictions, where maternal love coexisted with unimaginable cruelty. How could a mother driven by a fierce love for her children descend into the abyss of such unspeakable acts? It is a question that has haunted historians and psychologists alike as they try to understand the depths of her psyche. The answer, much like Cianciulli herself, is a macabre tapestry woven with threads of superstition, desperation, and a chilling detachment from the sanctity of human life. Her actions were not born out of malice, but rather a twisted sense of protection and sacrifice. Cianciulli's story is not for the faint of heart. It is a tale that delves into the darkest aspects of human nature, challenging our understanding of morality and the lengths to which a person can go when driven by fear and superstition. It is a descent into the darkest corners of the human psyche, where the lines between right and wrong become blurred. Her actions force us to confront the uncomfortable truth about the potential for darkness within us all. A stark reminder that the line between love and madness can be terrifyingly thin. Cianciulli's story serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating how easily love can be twisted into something monstrous when influenced by fear and irrational beliefs. It is a tale of betrayal, not just of the victims, but of the very essence of motherhood and the trust placed in it. The betrayal of those who looked up to her, who trusted her, makes her actions all the more horrifying. Of ancient superstitions colliding with the harsh realities of the modern world. Cianciulli's beliefs in old-world magic and curses clashed violently with the rationality of the 20th century, creating a perfect storm of tragedy. And of the chilling ease with which the human mind can justify the unthinkable. In her mind, the sacrifices she made were necessary, a twisted form of protection for her loved ones. This chilling justification forces us to question the nature of morality and the power of belief. Leonarda Cianciulli's story begins like many others, shrouded in the rural traditions and superstitions of early 20th century Italy. Born in 1893 in Montella, her early life was marked by hardship. Her own mother, steeped in the folklore of their region, believed Leonarda to be cursed. This curse, whispered in hushed tones, foretold a life marred by tragedy and despair. Cianciulli carried the weight of this ominous prediction throughout her life. Every misfortune, every ache and pain was seen as a manifestation of the curse's insidious power. This deep-seated belief in the supernatural, instilled in her from a tender age, would later fester and distort, ultimately shaping her horrific destiny. Her upbringing, though steeped in superstition, was not devoid of affection. She shared a close bond with her mother, a bond forged in the crucible of their shared belief system. This complex relationship, marked by both love and fear, would leave an indelible mark on Cianciulli's psyche. As Cianciulli blossomed into womanhood, the shadow of the curse seemed to follow her every step. She endured a tumultuous first marriage marked by domestic abuse and societal scorn. Twice she attempted suicide, a desperate cry for solace in the face of unrelenting hardship. These early experiences etched into her soul further solidified her belief in the curse's malevolent grip. Seeking a fresh start, Cianciulli eventually found herself in the town of Correggio, remarrying a man named Raffaele Pansardi. This union, initially a beacon of hope, soon crumbled under the weight of financial struggles and the devastating loss of several children in infancy. Each death, a fresh wound on Cianciulli's already fragile psyche, served to reinforce the pervasive feeling that fate, or perhaps the curse, was conspiring against her. Desperate for a glimmer of hope, Cianciulli sought solace in the familiar comfort of superstition. She consulted fortune-tellers and mystics, grasping at any thread of promise that could unravel the curse's hold on her life. Their pronouncements, often vague and open to interpretation, offered little more than fleeting moments of comfort, doing little to quell the growing desperation within her. Section 4. The curse's grip tightens. The year 1939 marked a turning point in Leonarda Cianciulli's life. A year that would forever alter her destiny and plunge her into a realm of unimaginable darkness. It was a descent from desperation into unspeakable darkness, a journey that would test the very limits of her sanity and morality. World War II cast a long shadow over Europe, a shadow that brought with it an era of unprecedented fear and uncertainty. The war stoked fear and uncertainty in the hearts of millions, leaving no one untouched by its relentless grip. For Cianciulli, this global turmoil hit agonizingly close to home, shaking the very foundation of her existence. Her eldest and most beloved son, Giuseppe, received his draft notice, a piece of paper that would change their lives forever. His fate hung precariously in the balance of war, a balance that could tip at any moment, plunging him into the chaos of battle. Cianciulli's world, already fragile, threatened to shatter completely under the weight of this new reality. The thought of losing Giuseppe, the one shining light in her life, was unbearable, a fear that gnawed at her soul day and night. Giuseppe was not just her son, he was her hope, her reason for enduring the hardships of life. The curse, she believed, had returned with a vengeance, determined to claim her most precious possession. This curse, a dark shadow from her past, seemed to loom larger than ever, threatening to engulf her entire world. Driven by a mother's fierce love and consumed by her belief in the curse, Cianciulli made a horrifying decision. She would not sit idly by and let fate take its course. No, she would fight back, even if it meant crossing the boundaries of morality. Cianciulli made a horrifying decision, one that would forever stain her soul and alter the course of her life. She would offer human sacrifices to appease fate and ensure her son's safety, a desperate act born out of a mother's love and fear. This marked a chilling shift in Cianciulli's perception, a descent into a twisted logic where the ends justified the means. No longer content with simply navigating the curse's path, she decided to take control, to manipulate the supernatural forces she believed governed her life. She would not be a passive victim of fate. Instead, she would become its master, bending it to her will through any means necessary. Her victims, she reasoned, would not die in vain. Their deaths would serve a higher purpose, a testament to a mother's love and sacrifice. Cianciulli convinced herself that this was a necessary evil, a dark path she had to walk to protect her son from the horrors of war. Her victims, she believed, were a small price to pay for the safety and future of her beloved Giuseppe. Their death, she convinced herself, would be a testament to a mother's love, a necessary evil to protect her son from the horrors of war. In her mind, these sacrifices were not acts of cruelty, but acts of love, twisted as they were by the curse's grip. And so, with a heart heavy with fear and determination, Cianciulli embarked on a path of darkness, driven by a love that knew no bounds and a curse that demanded the ultimate price. Section 5. Despair grips a mother's heart. The transition from despairing mother to calculated killer was a chillingly swift one for Leonarda Cianciulli. Her journey from a heartbroken mother to a remorseless murderer is a tale that sends shivers down the spine. It was as if the weight of her despair had unlocked a dark, hidden part of her soul, transforming her into a figure of terror. Her first victim, Faustina Setti, a woman seeking love and a new life, became an unwitting pawn in Cianciulli's twisted game of fate. Setti, filled with dreams of a brighter future, was lured by the promise of a suitable husband. Little did she know she was stepping into a meticulously laid trap, orchestrated by a woman driven by dark superstitions and a desperate need to protect her own family. Lured to her home under the guise of finding a suitable husband, Seti was drugged and brutally murdered, her life extinguished to appease a superstition. Cianciulli believed that human sacrifices were necessary to protect her children from a curse she feared would bring them harm. This belief, twisted and irrational, drove her to commit acts of unspeakable horror. Cianciulli's methods were as gruesome as they were methodical. She approached each murder with a cold, calculated precision, ensuring that no trace of her victims would be left behind. Her actions were not those of a frenzied killer, but of someone who had meticulously planned every detail. Using an axe, she ended her victims' lives, then dismembered and dissolved their bodies in caustic soda. The process was both brutal and efficient, reducing her victims to nothing more than a gruesome sludge. This method ensured that there would be no physical evidence left to link her to the crimes. The gruesome remnants of her crimes, far from filling her with remorse, were incorporated into her daily life. Cianciulli seemed to derive a perverse satisfaction from the macabre rituals she performed. The remains of her victims were not just disposed of, they were repurposed in ways that defied all notions of humanity and decency. The liquefied remains were mixed into soap, a grotesque perversion of domesticity, while other parts were used to bake cakes, offerings she shared with unsuspecting guests. This act of turning her victims into everyday household items was a chilling testament to her complete detachment from the sanctity of human life. It was as if she had crossed a line from which there was no return. This macabre ritual, far from repelling her, seemed to embolden Cianciulli. Each act of murder and subsequent transformation of her victims' remains into mundane objects seemed to reinforce her belief in her own power. She saw herself as a master of fate, capable of bending the universe to her will through these dark deeds. With each life taken, her belief in her ability to control fate, to rewrite the curse that had haunted her for so long, grew stronger. The murders were not just acts of violence, they were, in her mind, acts of defiance against a cruel destiny. She believed that through these sacrifices, she could protect her children and secure their future. The lines between reality and delusion blurred, her actions fueled by a terrifying mix of desperation, superstition, and a chilling detachment from the sanctity of human life. Cianciulli's story is a haunting reminder of the lengths to which a person can go when driven by fear and irrational beliefs. Her descent into madness and murder serves as a dark chapter in the annals of crime, a tale of despair that gripped a mother's heart and led her down a path of unimaginable horror.